Hey, Professor. So I am here to discuss my Praxar simulation presentation. Um, so first off, I wanted to discuss my initial strategy. So the initial strategy that I decided to yield, that I believed would help me yield a positive income with my share price going up by a large factor and my sales increasing by $2 million. So that was kind of jumbled, but the strategy that I wanted to take initially um, was to have a positive income because I know it was when I took over, the company was not, they were having very negative sales. And I wanted to make my share price going up by a large factor, and I wanted my sales to increase by hopefully $2 million. Towards the end of the simulation, though, I changed it up a bit. I stayed consistent for the most part with my initial strategy. However, I did change it slightly. I kind of tweaked some things here and there by creating minor re releases for games that were at the peak of their maturity. I decided to scrap a couple games that were on the decline of their product life cycle, and I decided to release a couple of new games that couple of new ones that varied by genre every year or every second year, just to kind of vary things up and make myself branch off from the sort of things that my company was initially known for. So some of my performance objectives are what I want to discuss next. So my performance objectives that I expected to reach were quite simple. These are some basic outlines I laid out for myself. I was keen on doubling my share price, so that was step number one. I wanted to gain and maintain, most importantly, the maintain part. I wanted to gain and maintain, at the bare minimum, an 8.0 out of 10 customer service satisfaction rate. And I wanted to keep a steady stream of net income above $500,000 yearly. And I know it seems a little bit low, but for a company that I'm taking over that was just really on the decline and not making much money at all, in fact, losing money, I figured that $500,000 yearly minimum would be something that I could easily achieve in a couple of years and then see where I go from there. And when it comes to gaining the 8.0 customer service satisfaction rate, I believed that it was important to keep that steady stream of each year getting my customer service team to put something new and give them the learning objectives that they can do. So different training when it comes to online help, service desk help, things like that. I wanted to keep that at a steady increase levels. So that was really important to me too. Now, during my actual performance, I did end up achieving my goal of getting the 8.0 customer service satisfaction rate, and I actually achieved higher than what I initially wanted by having a 9.0 satisfaction rate at the end of the simulation, which I was very proud of because, like I said, I set that benchmark of 8.0, and I was able to consistently keep that going up and up and up, and I was able to, by the end of year 8, I was able to get that satisfaction rate of 9.0, so that was a check mark in my book of my the initial successes that I wanted to reach. Um, yeah, so yeah, that was one of the initial things I wanted to do. Um, I did come close to doubling my share price, which was another one of the benchmarks I set for myself, which started at the low 200s. That was where my share price started when I took over, was at, jumping to $253.43 in the third year and finishing at $494.21 at the end of my simulation. So I didn't quite achieve it, but I was really close to doing that, which is good in my books. It may not be exactly what I wanted, but I did achieve a positive growth. For my target audience, my intended target audience started out with that hardcore gaming audience, who is mostly comprised of the males, 16 to 30, so starting in the mid to late teens, going on to kind of that 30-year-old benchmark. This changed, however, as my simulation went on, and my new intended audience for the remainder of the simulation became the casual gamer. The casual gamer demographic, as we all know, is made up of the relatively the same amount of males as females, more male, but they're more balanced, more equal than the hardcore gaming audience, with family being a big target, especially. This can be seen through my extensive game library of more family-oriented and casual gamer-oriented sports games, such as my Sports U video game, my Moto Madness video game, and my Madden football games, which were all tailored more towards that family casual gaming audience, that demographic. These games were very successful because the genre catered to the family and casual demographics, while the outstanding quality and the graphics of my game helped to make these games still appealing to the more hardcore gamers. And as we know, things that are important to the hardcore gaming audience, that demographic, may be different, and in fact they are different, quite different from the casual gamer demographic. They're both different entities, and they both want different things in their video game. So we decided to cater to both as best as we could. My main competitors in the industry were those who sold games that were in direct competition to our best-selling target market, which was comprised firstly of casual family market and secondly the hardcore game target. My main competitors were those who had family-oriented sports games, which also had impressive graphical features and smooth gameplay. I wasn't too worried about my competitors who had sports games that were not top of the line in terms of their graphic and overall quality. Some of my takeaways from the video game simulation were very positive. The situation taught me a lot of new concepts that I felt would be a lot harder to grasp had I just been told them through a slideshow or a lecture. I also learned that I actually know much more about marketing than I initially presumed I did. If I had another chance to do this again, I would keep most of it the same. However, I would have liked to get the simulation going longer, and I would also change some of the options I chose for my game's marketing mix. But overall, my choices were positive, but I do feel if I had the chance to do this again, my choices would be more informed and lead to even greater success in my simulation. Thanks very much.